Kia ora. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. I've put this little explainer together especially for you. We are going to crack the code on Maori sentences together, right here at the kitchen table. Forget about dense grammar books. This is just a simple, clear guide to help you and your kids start speaking with some real confidence. So, you've been learning Te Reo for a while now, and you've got this amazing kete, this basket full of words, which, let's be honest, that's the hardest part. But does it ever feel like when you go to put them together, you've got all the ingredients for a beautiful meal, but you're just missing the recipe? I promise you, you are not the only one who feels that way. Does this sound a little too familiar? It's such a common feeling for learners. You've got the words, but trying to get them in the right order feels like this impossible puzzle, and you don't have the key. That feeling, that little voice in your head that says there's something I'm not getting, that's exactly what we're going to solve today. And you know what? The secret you've been missing is so much simpler than you think. Okay, let's dive right in. We often think of grammar as this big, scary roadblock, right? But let's just forget that word. Think of it like a recipe. A super simple one. You've already got the best ingredients. All those words you know. You just need to learn the basic steps to put them all together. And this is the absolute key. Unlocking Maori sentences isn't about memorizing hundreds more words. It's about seeing a simple, repeatable pattern, a recipe. And once you see this pattern, I swear you'll start noticing it everywhere. This is going to be your big aha moment. So to make this as easy as possible, we're going to use some simple kitchen table terms. You know, the brilliant linguist Patrick Hohepa, he called these things contour words and initiators. But for our chat today, let's just call them sentence chunks and starter words. Simple as that. First up, a sentence chunk. Don't get hung up on the term. It's just a basic block of meaning. You know, think of the person or the house or an action, like has gone. Each one is a self-contained idea, like a single ingredient you're about to pop into the mixing bowl. And now for the magic ingredient, the starter word. Honestly, this is the most important thing we'll talk about today. A starter word is just a tiny little word that sits at the very beginning of a noun chunk. And its whole purpose, its entire job, is to tell the rest of the sentence what that chunk is doing. Is it the main character? Is it the tool being used? The starter word is the boss. It assigns the job. This is the key you've been looking for. So here's our basic toolkit for today. We're just focusing on these few. Now, you definitely already know the A/the starters. He, te, and nga. But the real power, the magic, comes from these job starters, ko, ki, and e. These little words, they're going to do all the heavy lifting for us. Let's start with something super simple, a one-chunk sentence. Think of it like a little snack to get us warmed up. This is the easiest sentence you can possibly build, and it's a perfect foundation. Okay, let's see it in action. Listen closely. Hi ware. One more time. Hi ware. All that means is a house. The starter word he just introduces the idea. Simple, right? You can do this with any noun you know. Hi tepu, a table. Hi puka puka, a book. See? You're already making sentences. Awesome. Okay, let's level up. We'll move to 2 chunks and see how this recipe just builds on itself. We're going to pair an action chunk with a noun chunk. And this is where you'll see those starter words really start to do their job. Okay, let's see how these pieces click together. So we have our action, kua haere, has gone. And we have our noun chunk, te tangata, the person. Now that starter word te tells us that te tangata is the subject of the sentence. It's the one doing the action. Put them together and you get kua haere te tangata. Let's say it slowly. Kua haere te tangata. The person has gone. You see how that tiny word te gave the noun its specific job? Okay, you are totally ready for the full meal. This is where it all comes together. This is where you see the true power of this recipe. With 3 chunks, we can add so much more detail, and you'll see how changing just one tiny starter word completely changes the meaning of the whole sentence. All right, here's a classic example from Hohepa's work. Let's say it slowly together. Ka patua te tangata ki te raku. Again, ka patua te tangata ki te raku. So the translation is, the person was hit with the tree, or a stick. Now let's break down the specific jobs that those 2 noun chunks are doing. And here it is. This is the whole thing in a nutshell. Look at this. We've got 2 noun chunks, the person and the tree.
So how do we know who was hit and what they were hit with? It's all about the starter words. The starter word te gives tangata the job of the subject, the one the action happened to. But the starter word ki, it gives rakau a totally different job, the instrument, the thing that was used to do the hitting. Those two tiny words, te and ki, control the entire story. That is the recipe. Let's just put this on a little cheat sheet for you. The starter word te, its job is to mark the subject. The starter word ki, its job is to mark the instrument or destination. Like hit with the stick or go to the house. And another really useful one, e, often gives the job of the object, the thing you acted on, or a past location, like in iteware, which means something happened at the house. So, here's the bottom line. You can absolutely do this. You're not just a learner anymore. You are the sentence chef. You have the skills right now to start creating your own sentences with confidence. You came here today with a fantastic vocabulary, your ingredients. And that is the hard part. But now you have the recipe. You understand that the secret is just in those powerful little starter words that give every part of your sentence a specific job. You have the key that you felt you were missing. So here it is, your simple 3-step recipe for making your own sentences. First, just identify your chunks. What's the action? Who's the person? What's the object? Step 2, pick your starter words. Give each of those noun chunks a job using te, ki, or e. And step 3, put it all together and say your sentence with the confidence that you have absolutely earned. You are so much closer to speaking confidently than you ever realized. You have the knowledge, you have the recipe. All that's left to do is start cooking. So my question for you is this: what sentence will you create first? Kakaite ano?